And the truth of the matter is I never know when these things are starting. So I have this tendency to just start talking in hope that the video will catch up with me. So this is usually the part where I say, my name is Dennis Procopio. I am the owner of Man Up Life Coaching. And I am here today with a guest by the name of Matthew Reddington. Hello, Matthew.
Hello.
I'm going to flip the sands of time, which will give us roughly 30 minutes to chat. And Matt, my hope today was that we would just have a casual discussion. This is a live video. It is a public video. And so you're welcome to share as much as you'd like, as little as you'd like. And I'll try to keep my questions as vanilla as possible. If you want to delve into the granular details on any topic, feel free to. I'm not going to press. Cool?
Cool.
Okay. So first of all, just for establishing where we both are, I'm in San Diego, California. You're in where? You're in Dublin?
Dublin, Ireland.
Dublin, Ireland. So how you feeling today, man?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling awesome today.
Yeah. How were you feeling the day you and I met?
How was I feeling? Good question. Bit stuck in a rut. Living with COVID, not great time. In a bit of a rut with my career, working in the same company almost 6 years, and looking for a change. But I was saying to you that I felt like I had golden handcuffs because they pay quite well, but I just wasn't really happy. And I was trying to figure out how to change that and to become more happy, more satisfied, fulfilled in my life.
So when we first spoke, one of the things that I noticed right away was, and you're right, you're 36, right? That's how old you are? 36, yeah. Unmarried, no kids, so eligible bachelor. Right. But my bigger point for saying that is single guy, living alone, working in the field of finance. What is your let's get you to you've got this sort of yeah. Single guy living alone and in the field of finance. What is it exactly that you famously have done financially in your career? Like, what's not just what are you doing, but what's the gamut? Anybody who doesn't know crap about finance, you're talking to a 5-year-old.
Well, I work in for a fintech technology company, and I've been selling financial technology solutions for the last 10 plus years. Working for a major US bank, some Swiss financing company, and then another Swiss fintech where I am currently. And I've been selling these solutions all over the world. Built up a very good experience in doing that. Did an executive MBA in Switzerland, and so I had all this great experience, but still looking to make a move, and had some good news today.
Yeah, and we'll get to that good news. So tell me about your experience, your African experience.
Yeah, so I moved to Africa for 2 years. I was managing the regional office of this technology company. So it was a great experience for me because I'd never managed people before. So, one challenge was going to Africa, a completely new culture.
Where specifically? Kenya?
In Kenya, yeah.
Yeah.
The second challenge then was managing people, and you're kind of an outsider brought in to manage people. So it's another challenge, getting to know people and actually learning how to lead. And so when I went there, things weren't good. The team weren't really performing. and I managed to turn that around. So changed the team a bit, trained them very well, and turned our company into the number one selling solution for our kind in East Africa.
That's awesome.
Yep.
And then how did that transition into the golden handcuff job?
So when you're performing well in software companies, people don't want to lose you. So you get share options, of course, and I had share options, and they were vested. So sat on quite a few of those. And if you then leave the company, and my terms of my employment, if I leave the company, then I have to leave all those shares behind. I can't take them with me, so I have to sell them back at the same price I bought them for, like $1,
Mhm.
or 1 cent.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mm.
So you were in your, I'm guessing just by that, since you said you were your um, one company for 5.5, almost 6 years. So you were doing the Kenya thing in your late 20s, early 30s?
Oh, early 30s.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. From there, you went to this pretty stable job in which is where it's in Ireland, or it's in London, or it's a Swiss company. What's the story?
Work for this Swiss company, so working for the same company but based in Ireland,
Okay.
in a different role,
Uh-huh.
a kind of global role this
Mm-hmm.
time,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah.
Okay. And what did we discuss would probably happen over the course of working together? I'm asking you for, I'm feeding you, obviously. I'm baiting you to say it because I don't want to say, didn't I tell you, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, we sat together and I said, this is a relatively inexpensive service, all things considered. We'll be together for about 12 to 24 months, presumably. And in that time, you'll go through 3 specific stages. You'll go from survival mode to maintenance mode to creative mode. In survival mode, you're basically, you're living your how do I make money, but it's not your why do I get out of bed in the morning, why do I not just whatever, jump off a bridge because of the monotony of it all at the end of the day. What is my raison d'etre? What is my purpose? What excites me? What makes me feel alive? What do I want to be when I grow up? What will be my legacy? And you said, no offense to the company that I'm at, but this is not my why. This is my how. And that's why I'm feeling stuck. Right?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. And I said, okay, so that sounds like survival mode to me. You're surviving in this environment, but after 5.5 years, there's no part of you that's looking forward to another 5 to 6 years there. Because at that point, you're 40 something years old and you're like, yeah, that's not what I want to do. And also just in your personal life, feeling a little low on energy, feeling a little low on motivation, feeling a little low on direction, feeling like a bit of an emotional sourpuss, if we can be frank.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, putting in the hours, 9 to 5, not really happy, but being paid well. Um, During COVID wasn't a great time. So
Yeah. So survival mode for you was, okay, I think I need to find some sort of a coach that can help me to get unstuck. Um, how the hell did you find me? I mean, you're in Dublin, Ireland.
Google.
Google, which means
Yeah,
my
actually,
SEO must be pretty good, right?
SEO is pretty good, I think. I came across you online. I saw one of your videos explaining Man Up Life coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I signed up, and then you called me and talked about the program, what it covers, and I talked about, of course, my current situation. And I mean, you said you deal with people day in day out in the exact same position, right? And you've been doing this for a long time. You've got plenty of clients, lots of good references, and yeah, I trusted you.
Good. I'm glad you did.
as
I'll
well.
tell you a funny story. The only other interaction I've had with someone from Dublin, Ireland, is a guy who couldn't afford it. Was completely hateful toward his boss, hateful toward himself, hateful toward everyone around him. Sat in on a session with myself and my co-coach Faisal, and felt in the call that I had maybe been a little bit too honest about where he was getting stuck and what he needed to do. Ego couldn't handle it, and this dude decided to systematically go on YouTube and trash me on every single video. Went onto Facebook and left this message saying, these dudes are absolute fucking abusive scammers. Do not give them your time. All they're trying to do is separate you from your hard-earned cash. And I thought, I'm so glad that I have my man Matthew Reddington, because otherwise I'd be like, to hell with Dublin. Yeah, so this guy was a poor spokesperson for your neck of the woods. I'm glad to have you here to say, hey, so far so good. So let's move into. I don't want to move into the creative mode conversation, although you're about to go hard, man. I see a thing about to happen. So let's talk about it. So we first started working together. Obviously, my methods are proprietary, but the basic is we do some brain games. So I introduced to you this idea. We're going to be playing some chess. We're going to be focusing on exercise, diet, you know, enjoyment of things like beverages or whatever. Hashtag I'm Irish. Hey, I'm Italian, so I get it. They joke and say that God, created red wine to keep the Italians from taking over the world. So we do these things like play chess. We do these things like manage exercise and diet. We do this thing like creating a system for being personally accountable in your daily life and making sure things go through. We also do some kind of wacky stuff, like do a very specific kinesthetic meditation, which involves a pen and a pad. We explore spirituality a little bit without getting too hokey with it. And we emphasize very heavily, and this is a key piece, on neurolinguistic programming and reframing the way you talk to yourself and to the world about yourself and about the world. So before we get to the money shot here and explain how you went from survival mode to holy shit, let's talk about that middle part, that sort of shit pipe that you kind of have to crawl through to get there. Maintenance mode. Speak to that for me, if you will.
Yeah, so I guess when we spoke at first, and I guess I'm gonna keep saying COVID, but these days when people are living at home, and I know so many friends, it's so easy in the evening to kind of unwind, have a glass of wine or a few beers, and that turns into like a lot of evenings,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not then exercising, and you're kind of getting into a cycle, and it's not healthy for you. And I guess I'm maybe when you're stressed out with work as well, you kind of have this mindset that's a bit negative. And what we started to do was to change that. So to start exercising every week, 3-4 times a week, really setting goals with you and goals for the week, like drink less than 2 times a week, so many drinks, do so many things of exercise for an hour, so different things that would kind of move me to a better place. And so I kept up with the KPIs. I was achieving them most weeks, some weeks not, but it was just good to have someone accountable, and you was there every week who was I had to report to and would kind of hold me to this high standard. So I felt like my energy levels had increased a lot. Just even 1 or 2 weeks in, I felt like I had a lot more energy. And then we started doing that kinesthetic meditation, and doing a lot of, call them positive reinforcements.
That's right. So for kinesthetic meditation, if somebody's like, what the hell is that? I always just say, It's one thing to meditate for 30 minutes to an hour a day. That basically means you're supposed to sit down and shut up. If you have a busy mind like some of us do, it's nice to have something to do with your hands that can distract you. So, myself having gone to art school, and having gone to art school because I became good at drawing, and having become good at drawing because I survived a traumatic childhood and always had a pen and paper available, and used that pen and paper to occupy myself, which is where the skill eventually became developed. I have this sort of patent kinesthetic meditation that I ask clients to do that I always describe as easy as making a dot on a page. If you can make a dot on a page, you can do my kinesthetic meditation. So it's eventually a doodle of sorts for 30 minutes a day. So how did, before we get to the second bit, which is positive reinforcement, how did you find that doing this kinesthetic meditation and forcing yourself to be, quote, present, or at least, quote, mentally quiet for 30 minutes a day for, a minimum of 5 days a week? What effect did that have on you, and how do you think that so far has contributed to this process?
Yeah, I think, these days, none of us are alone with our thoughts, because there's always something to do, and mainly it's pick up your phone and look on Instagram or whatever, or play YouTube. And this was kind of an opportunity every day to sit down and do this meditation and not think about anything else, and really clear your mind. And I felt after the meditation relaxed, just really chilled out, and no stress. So it was had this kind of soothing effect on me. And at the start, I thought, okay, this is a bit of a pain to get into,
Right.
but after a while, I was looking forward to it. Just kind of carving that 30 minutes out per day.
I appreciate that you said that bit, which is that it was sort of a pain at first. The clients who hate doing this most are the ones who also use the following language. They see I and me a lot, like a lot. They use the term feel a lot. Everything is how they feel, what something feels like, which honestly, not to be a sexist, not to get into gender crap, but since my business is man up life coaching, the truth is guys have a tendency to be the ones in a conversation with their if you're in a classic monogamous male female relationship, when she says that you don't listen, it's because she's talking about how she feels and you're talking about what you think. She wants to share her feelings, you want to download this data that she's sharing with you and use it to solve her problems. So thinking versus feeling. If I get a guy who comes in and his language is feel, and he's sort of emotionally all over the place, I know for a fact that when I give him meditation, he's going to hate it. And the experience that I liken it to is, I remember, I've had a, a pretty colorful lifestyle for a 50-year-old guy. I'm a pretty colorful life. And dealing with animals, particularly in a rural environment, is part of my experience. So there was this one summer in particular where I spent the summer in Galena, Ohio, which at the time was a tiny little town. You could sneeze and miss it. And we were working with horses, and we were boarding horses, and we had maybe 16 horses. And of them, there were 2 in particular that were absolute assholes. And there's this one horse, Buddy, that if you rode him, you could be guaranteed that he was going to try to throw you off of his back. He was going to ride you into bushes or try to knock you off with low-hanging branches and things. And the game was to make him rideable. And so this horse, every time he would do his shenanigans, what we would do is we'd say, that's it. And we'd ride him up to a nice big body of water and walk him around shoulder high in water until he got that crap out of him. And if he wanted to try to buck and kick and do all of that, he'd discover pretty quickly that, up to his shoulder in water, that's pretty exhausting. And so we'd get out and try again. If he wanted to buck, wick, go back in. And we'd do that until he got that music out of him. So this meditation does exactly that for your monkey brain that's trying to go all over the place. It's self-discipline. Do you identify with that now?
Yeah, yeah. For me, it wasn't as if I didn't want to do the activity. It was just like time in my diary, opportunity cost.
Totally get it. And that's a lot of guys. A lot of guys are like, I could be doing something useful here.
Yeah.
Like
pretty much, you would be watching YouTube.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
You would be doing nothing else useful.
But the point is, it just feels monotonous and crazy to be sitting there doing 30 minutes of something that you've been told from the beginning, this is pointless. I mean, it's essentially Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off. It's like being given a pair of scissors and told to cut a football field's worth of grass. You understand from the moment you do it. This is designed to slow me down and to have no point, which is really kind of annoying. But once you get over it and you get into it, there are benefits. So let's couple that now with the positive reinforcement and the absolute changing of the script and how developing those new neurolinguistic pathways arguably attract success.
Yep. So, the kind of positive reinforcement. So it's, I guess when you're stressed out, you kind of, and you're a bit of a perfectionist sometimes, you'll judge yourself, kicking yourself for not doing something or being bad at something or whatever. And subconsciously you kind of are telling yourself this during the day, I should have done that better or whatever. And this process is to, consciously, tell yourself positive reinforcements like, I am good at this or whatever. You have your own mantra. And, practicing that each day, I felt like my mood is changing, that I felt a lot more positive about myself and about everything else. And just more optimistic. And I think when you're in that better frame of mind, optimistic, when you're not stressed, you get kind of into a state of flow. And when you can then identify opportunities, when you can then consider taking risks, like looking for something else to do, making changes in your life, it's a good state to be in.
What kind of negative statements were you making to yourself regularly? Like identifiable. The average guy will be like, "Oh, dude, I do that all the time."
Oh, I don't know.
For instance, here I'll help you out a little bit. There was nothing embarrassing. I won't throw you out there, but I think there was a narrative that said, "I can't leave this job because it makes me so much money." Mm-hmm. Which is a roundabout way of saying, I'm not worth more money than this.
Yeah. Well, I think when you ask, other people will tell you as well, oh, that's a lot of money. You're not going to get that in the market.
And you believe it.
And you start to believe it. Oh, they know the market. Yeah. And you're not as, you don't look then. You're kind of, you sit there and do your 9 to 5. So, that was definitely playing in my head.
Yeah. Yeah. The idea that I want something, but I don't really believe that I can have it. Mm-hmm. And that lends itself to a little bit of bitterness. So now for the money shot. You stepped up to session today, positively radiant, tap dancing on the desk with your tie around your head, so to speak. Why?
Why? Because I have another opportunity, and it's more than I expected. A lot more than I expected. So I'm pretty happy about that. It would be a good change into a new field, which I'm very interested in, around blockchain. and yeah, so it's something I hadn't expected to achieve in such a short period of time doing this coaching with you.
Is it fair to say that you, if you're the financial guy, without throwing figures around, by what percentage has your salary increased?
Oh, 30 to 40%.
And the figure that you're guaranteed to make, is it a little, is it, is it safe to say
It's good.
it's good, huh, bro?
Yeah.
Like it's a bit miraculous, really, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, I'm very happy.
So you've got to be feeling a combination of excitement and gratitude.
Yeah, absolutely. Excited about the future. Just so happy that yeah, I got to this stage, and I wasn't expecting it at all. Well, not so soon.
Not so soon. And now, so we can say you've come out of survival mode, you've done your time in maintenance mode, and obviously you're coming into creative mode because you've had a minor miracle. You got a shoulder tap from a guy, not, hey, I'm going to walk in the front door, sit in the lobby with a whole bunch of other people, and all, you got some bizarre shoulder tap from some financial angel who came along and said, hey, I've had my eyes on you. Do me a favor, go talk to a guy about a thing. And the next thing you know, here you are about to embark on this fantastic journey that's simultaneously a dream job and has the potential to literally 2x your golden handcuff salary. And really, as you grow with the company and the company scales, technically, if you're ambitious, there's really no ceiling on your growth potential.
Yeah, that's true.
If that's not creative mode, dude, I don't know what is. In terms of maintenance, we're going to be careful as we continue to work together, because obviously in the beginning you get all excited and then you discover, oh, just like every other job, this job has its shit side. That we're not ever going to get away from that, and it's unrealistic to think that we will be. I promise there will be days in your job where you'll ask yourself if you've made the right choice, if you've taken on too much. You'll have imposter syndrome and wonder if you're good enough to do this job. I'm not suggesting that you nurture this ideology, but realistically speaking, and based on what I've seen as people grow, your path upward is, it's more of a jagged line in it than just a straight upward trajectory, right?
Yeah.
Like a stock or a cryptocurrency or something, it goes up and down. It can ultimately trend upward, but there will be moments where you'll, oh crap, and the core programming that got you here will be critical for maintain. You'll knock back into maintenance mode pretty regularly as you ascend. You get that, right?
Yeah. But I feel that, I don't know, is it the course with you? Probably it's definitely part of it, but also being a crypto holder. I mean, I'm dealing with ups and downs every day. Losing my shirt one day, making a fortune the next day, and I don't know. I feel like I'm more able to kind of roll with the punches and more calm under pressure. So yeah, with the combination of that and this course, which is great, I'm able to. I feel more confident in being able to handle future stressful situations. And just having kind of the check-in with you each week, I feel will kind of keep me on track, because I don't want to kind of revert back into old habits, and I want to just keep good habits where they are.
I love it. So as a way of wrapping up, because the sands of time are moving quickly here, if I had to, at this point in the conversation, say, let's give a 3 to 5 minute wrap up for somebody who said too long, didn't watch, and just wanted to timestamp this sucker from right here. I just said, hey, I'm Dennis. This is Matt. Matt's my client in Ireland. He and I have been discussing for the past better part of a half hour how Man Up Life Coaching and its programming has gotten him from point A to point B, where point A was survival mode, and point B is now coming into a bit of a dream job and having a bit of a new lease on life, both financially and in terms of personal success. Um, would you recommend Man Up Life Coaching to another guy? If so, in just a few sentences, why would that be?
I'd certainly recommend Man Up Life Coaching. It's worked well for me, moving me from a kind of place of being stuck in a rut, being stressed out, not having good habits, into being more at peace, no stress, in better habits, getting fitter, eating healthier, being happier, and really clearing my mind to make better decisions. That has ultimately, moved my career forward and making me more successful and making me happier. So just within a short period of time, a few months, I've had some big changes in my life, some very positive changes. And I think if you're the person who can, follow some instructions and follow the course and do what Dennis is asking, there's no reason why it shouldn't work for you as well.
Man, wow. That's powerful. Thank you so much. On that note, I'm going to say to anyone who hasn't done so already, I try my best to put decent content on here, and I'd love for you to like, because I like validation as much as anyone. And I'd love for you to subscribe so that you can hear more client stories and the occasional one-off diatribe from yours truly, giving you advice on how you can embrace personal success in your own life. So on that note, we're going to sign off. Matt, stick around, and we're going to bid you adieu. Take care. Thanks, Matt.
Bye-bye.
Okay.